What is going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders. I am very grateful to have your attention, at least for the next 15 minutes of this episode. Forward Thinking Founders is a podcast where I interview pre-seed and seed stage founders about their products, what they want to build into the world, and why. We dive into how they spend their time, what's their vision, what's their origin stories, all these things, so you can learn all about what's coming tomorrow. Because these companies haven't hit critical scale yet. Most of them haven't hit product market fit. These are just early stage companies, and the big question is, what can this be? And in this podcast, we bring that out. So with that, I really hope you enjoy your time listening to today's episode. And I've already done 200 plus, so if you like this one, listen to some of the other ones, like with Imadi Kund, Austin Allred, Leah Culver. We have great interviews, so check it out, enjoy the repository, and for now, let's get into today's episode. Here we go. All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders, where we talk to founders about their companies, their visions for the future, and how to collide. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to Aditya Mehta and Oleksii Sidorov, who are the co-founders of Suggestr. Welcome to the show. How's it going, guys?
It's going great. Thanks for having us, Matt. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you both on the podcast to learn more about what you are working on. For people that haven't heard of your company before, they haven't heard of you, what are you working on? Can you describe what Suggestr is?
Yeah, I can take that one. So, Matt, we're basically building 10x better product recommendations for brands that are running on Shopify. So we are an e-commerce enablement company. So we have this really cool, no-code, self-serve product recommendation tool on Shopify that currently 100 brands globally are using. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
So let's say I had a Shopify store, call it Forward Thinking Shopify store or whatever. And
great name. Yeah.
And I was still the same merch or whatever. If I, came across what you all are doing kind of on the podcast or whatever, and wanted to use it myself, how would that work? Or in other words, what is the product experience of someone that was kind of using using your product?
Oleksii, do you want to walk us through the magical onboarding experience?
Of course. Yeah. So I'm working on our product, and I'm CTO of Suggestr. So actually, our product is very simple. As for consumer, it takes just 3 clicks to install, because Shopify has its app store. So user can go to app store, click install, follow simpler onboarding where they can choose which sections want to show, because we show different sections, like you may also like some different cross sales, like people who bought this also bought, and what people buy together, something individual for this person. So different sections which user can choose, and then we it's either get published immediately or we can customize it. Again, no friction. We do it on backend, on background, and it's ready and it's working. Now it's already on the store, so customers can see it, customers can click it, and then we provide tracking, provide analytics. It starts working basically. And most importantly, we don't need any data to get started. So actually, even for small stores which don't have any user data, or even stores which recently updated their product base, their catalog, our recommendations work based on the product, and that's why it starts working immediately.
It sounds awesome. It kind of leads me to wonder how did you even get started with this idea? Can one of you kind of share the origin story for the company?
So basically, the funny thing is, me and Oleksii, we've both had sort of experiences in e-commerce, both while we were at university, and this is way before we had met each other. So if I am correct, Oleksii ran a drop shipping store for plush toys, right, Oleksii? And
alpacas.
I had sorry.
No, so yes, it was store of plush alpacas. It was super cute.
Alpacas, sorry, my bad. More specific. Well, for me, I had a bunch of my mates who were drop shipping hoodies to Canada back in 2018. So I was doing marketing for all of those guys. So that's where we've had a foot in e-commerce for a while. And then specifically about the technology that we're using, it's something that virtually nobody else is using in the e-commerce game today. And basically, we at this point we've spoken to over 300-400 different e-commerce merchants, and we've seen something really interesting. It seems to us that the top 1% of the e-commerce brands, they are generating a significant proportion of their sales from product recommendations. And just to take it to the most extreme, Amazon actually makes 1/3 of their total revenues from product recommendations. While on the other hand, your average DTC brand, this figure is like less than 1-2%. And especially like Shopify's default recommendation section, like nobody's making money off of that. And then this is something that we knew starting out. And this is something that we wanted to change. Oleksii actually worked on this really exciting technology called multimodal AI while he was at Facebook AI research. And we just found a perfect fit between this problem statement, this technology, and the timing of doing it in 2021.
So walk me through a little bit maybe of, and you both can answer this if you want, but like your day-to-day, right? You're both working on this. I'm sure you do a lot of similar things, a lot of different things, but when you wake up, other than doing the Forward Thinking Founders podcast, today, what do you spend your time on when you're working on the company?
Yeah, I think I can start.
You could start, yeah.
Yeah, we have very clearly separated roles. Because like Adi, our CEO doing business, sales, fundraising, talking to investors, talking to customers. I'm more on the technology, product development, like web development, algorithms, all the stuff. So for me, my day usually is concentrated about talking to our development team. So we have a few people working remotely. So it's fully remote team, which we have like constant calls. And we have some stand-ups, then we have like one-to-ones almost with each person discussing like where we are now, what's blocking, what they want to do, and what's on our roadmap, discussing how it will be implemented, and just closing some kind of daily like to-dos. And that's pretty much my day.
Awesome. Yeah. And, Matt, like we've sort of built up the culture from the ground up to be very remote friendly. In fact, like even within the team, I think me and Oleksii, we have like very different sleep schedules and chronotypes. Like I like to wake up early, and Oleksii's, like a typical tech guy. He has a very night owl kind of schedule, and it works perfectly for the both of us. And we focus a lot on like documentation and, putting things down, not just for ourselves, but also for the rest of our team members. And one fact I can share is, we even though we're like a very distributed team and it's like 5 people right now, but we are like, let's say we're pretty bonded. And that's how we sort of think about this.
I feel like there's a Paul Graham essay on like the hacker, like the hacker leader, the hacker CEO schedule, where like some, the technologist is up really late, the business person's up early, and it's just this like this kind of cycle, which is I can relate to as well. Leads me to wonder though, like obviously you're both spending different time on different parts of the company, you're growing this thing. If you were to look out in 5, 10, 15 years, what do you see as the big picture here? I guess in other words, what's the big vision and what direction are you both rowing in as you build the company?
Awesome. So I think like the big vision really, Matt, is that like we want to hyper personalize e-commerce pretty much for every individual out there. I think the best example of this is, think of an offline store. Like no matter whether you walk in or I walk in or Oleksii walks in, the store stays the same, right? But like with online, for the first time, we have this opportunity that we can actually totally reorient the store depending on who walks in and what their preference is and what their history, and what their browsing behavior is. And I think this window of opportunity, as I mentioned, it's an intersection of the platforms that we have today, the data that the brands collect, and the technology that enables it. And that's really our vision, that we want to hyper personalize every single e-commerce surface so that number one, the end consumer has the best possible buying experience. Number two, the brands that enabled or like use this technology, they can enable new and novel kinds of experiences. So that's really what we're trying to do here.
And in order to make that happen, you'll need some help, right? I mean, it takes a village to make a startup work and scale. So my question for both of you is, how can the Forward Thinking Founders community help? Are you hiring, raising money, looking for customers, partners? How can we assist?
So all of those actually. So we are, as of now, like we're hiring for open positions. I think Oleksii can talk more about that in a second, but we're also always looking for more customers. So if there's any sort of budding DTC brands or e-commerce founders within the Forward Thinking Founders community, we would love to talk to you just to understand what your needs are and if we can help you to move your brand forward. And we're also hiring. So Oleksii wants to quickly touch on that.
Yeah, I think we are in the interesting position now where we build pretty solid product. I think it's actually quite common for founders like, who start with tech. We have good product, but now we actually we want to have more customers, and we want to sell. We want to understand better, what we need to change. I think like customers and like talking to people from e-commerce is kind of our goal right now. But apart from that, we continue our development. So we're looking for engineers, we're looking for designers, looking for people in marketing, a lot of exciting roles, mostly for people in the departments where they will be the department. It's like one person team. But yeah, I think it's exciting times actually to join and to work with.
Also a great time to join us because this is right at the beginning of our Y Combinator batch, and we hope to do an amazing fundraise at Demo Day. And anybody who joins now, it's a great time to join. There's a lot of ownership and above market comp and equity, everything that goes with it. But it's also a really exciting time to join the team.
So let's say someone's kind of listening to this and they're compelled, they're excited, they want to learn more. How can they find you online or kind of get in touch? Do you have a website, social media, email address, LinkedIn? Like, how can someone learn more and get in touch about what you're doing here?
We have all of those. I think the simplest would be they can just write a message to Oleksii or me on LinkedIn. We're active on all social platforms, but I think LinkedIn works best.
Yeah, so Suggestr without E, that's us.
That's us, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming on the podcast. Best of luck building this out, and excited about the beginning of your YC experience. So you have to come back on in a year or two. Let me know how it goes.
Awesome. Looking forward to that, man.
All right. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.